Welcome back. As promised, we have Vijay Kedia now joining us. He's a large individual investor. He's managing director at Kedia Securities. Really needs no introduction. Vijay, great to have you with us here. Thank you very much. You're joining us from Ahmedabad. I'm assuming it's a business trip with maybe a visit or two at Atul Auto as well. And that investment of yours has done fabulously well. But today, let me start by, we'll talk about the electric vehicle theme, etc. But let's just start with the markets, because every time we speak with you, between the last interaction and this interaction, markets are up a couple of thousand points, literally, right? I mean, that is the kind of remarkable markets that we are in. I don't know if you just heard our colleague from Money Control, Mahalakshmi, was talking about the, some of the measures which SEBI is now looking at. SEBI expert panel is looking at to curb F&O, the huge frenzy in F&O trading. It's something that is close to your heart as well. I mean, you have, over the years, over the last 1.5 years, spoken about investing, not trading, looking at the longer term, etc., etc. So how do you look at this? What is your view on the markets right now? Let's begin there.
So I have been talking about all these things not for last 1 or 2 years, maybe for last 10 years or something. The first song I had written about against this F&O and all, maybe in 2016 or 17. Anyway, now, unfortunately, I could not hear what Mahalakshmi ji talked about all these things. But I am very much sure that the SEBI is really, working very hard. And they really want to stop this frenzy, which is, or this euphoria, which is going on in this market. SEBI is definitely worried about it. And if I can use the word, I think it is not euphoria. It is like a stampede in the market. Even here in Ahmedabad, whoever I am meeting, who is not at all related to stock market and from different walk of life, different field, business-wise, career-wise, and everybody's talking about stock market only, that they want to trade, they want to make quick money, and they want to, break their FD, and they want to, somebody was telling me yesterday only that he's working in some IT firm and all, and he want to quit and again, join stock market and all. So I think that this situation is not, personally, I may be wrong because I have been proven wrong many times in the past. But I think this will not end well. So SEBI should take very strict action to curb this kind of frenzy in the market or stampede in the market.
Vijay, you say stampede. Stampede, people get hurt in a stampede. Here, people are making money, hand over fist, maybe a little too easy, right?
Yeah.
And you talked about Ahmedabad. If there is one city where people will talk about markets, it is Ahmedabad, right? So it is not. But are you saying that it is getting a little too much? I mean, the very, very rosy kind of optimistic scenario. And are you talking about the overall market or only what's happening in F&O?
The F&O overall market also, I think there is a frenzy in the market, even in cash section also. And it is not Ahmedabad, you can say, call it, because people here, all this community or Ahmedabad is, they know stock market, they understand the stock market. I was in Bhubaneswar 5 days back, and there also people were really talking only about stock market and all, what to buy, what not to buy. And most of the people were discussing about a future and option only. So this option is a new buzzword, in India now. Every Gen Z or whatever you call them now, they want to try their luck in option, future and option. So it is going out of the way, no doubt about it.
Vijayji, afternoon, Rima here. Give us your views on the budget, because you are of the opinion that we will see some sort of taxation on capital gains. So first your view, and if it does come in any form, how much will this be the straw that breaks the camel's back? Do you think it's going to hurt tremendously? How will the markets react?
If you ask me, I think there's some tinkering capital gain tax is going to happen. Maybe either they are going to increase the tenure, which is now 12 months, maybe they will increase it to 24 months, or they will increase the capital gain tax rate, which is 10% to maybe 15 or 20%. I think it is going to come because best time is the best time to bring any reforms. Okay, when in worst time you cannot bring all these reforms. And I will give one different perspective, Rima. You see this, whatever volume is happening in this market, this is 90% or more than 95% volume is of future and option only. Hardly 10% people are investors in this market. And out of those 10%, 10% of those 10% are long-term investors who really hold the shares for 12 months or beyond that. So I don't think it is ultimately it is going to hurt the masses and all. On the contrary, all these people who are indulging into this future and option and buying today and selling tomorrow, and this momentum buyer and momentum trader and all, they will be happy. That because they are paying full tax. Okay, so I don't think it is going to hurt the market. As it is, market will need some some excuse, to cool down. So maybe that would be an excuse to cool down the market. But I think government will certainly consider. This is what I personal view. If it does not come, good. I would be happy.
Hi, Mr. Kedia. Good afternoon and good to see you. And what I fear is when I go home from work, I go in a cab and sometimes the cabbie is already, he's looking at the rates, he's trying to do something. I'm happy when I'm going home because I know the market is shut. Otherwise, they have it at their display, which makes me a little bit worried. So you're calling for some action from SEBI. You're saying maybe the government will tinker with the rate or maybe with the tenure as well. So let's see how that goes. But let's focus on a couple of themes. One theme that has come to the forefront for the last couple of years at least is the EV theme. And you've taken a big chunk in Atul Auto. That's been one of your big winners out there. We spoke to the management just a week or so ago, and they were talking about EVs being around 25 to 30% of their mix. Don't you think but that valuations now have got a little bit expensive for a lot of these EV plays? Atul Auto, I think the other way you're playing it is precision camshaft as well. So give us your comment on it.
So we are not discussing about any individual stocks, but just for reference purpose, since you took the name of Atul Auto, so let me tell you, not Atul Auto, all electric, all EV shares, you name any shares, all are expensive in this market. So and all are rising on this expectation that that earnings will catch up. So if suppose if earnings don't catch up in next 6 months to 12 months, then of course they will also go their own way. So as on today, if you ask me, looking at the previous past balance sheet or past numbers, all those shares are expensive.
Okay, all right. So EV is a little bit expensive, the theme on the whole.
But future is bright. But future is bright. Again, you have to take a call that you want to take a call for 6 months or you want to take a call for 5 years. If you ask me, since I am invested, I am taking a call for 5 years. So that difference, that perspective, change of that different opinion is because of this only.
Got it. Okay. All right. So you need to sit in it for a longer ride. You can't be looking at this short ride out there. So that's on the EV themes. Expensive, but there is a runway. And in the years to come, we'll see that culminate. So that's good news. The other theme you've been quite positive on is on the infra theme. And that's as well, a lot of investors, they have been talking about this infra boom here in India. One of the stocks that you're invested in is Patel Engineering. And we're at the untimely demise of the promoter, Mr. Patel. What's your view on the theme? And if you want to comment on this particular stock?
No, again, I think it is against SEBI rule that I shouldn't talk about particular stocks and all. And since you have taken the name, so my condolence to the, that family and the company because of this, untimely death of Mr. Patel. Let me tell you one thing. It's very clear. I have also thought about it, but there is one thing, as we always say, that show must go, go on. This is the difference between a proprietorship firm and a private limited company and a listed entity. All these listed entities are run by professionals and by the team, and this business is so complex that one single person actually cannot run this business, as we all understand. So I think this phase will also pass, and of course, and this company is quite old. So I think they will manage. I remember one thing, Nigel, on this topic. I remember one thing. I'm not going to take the name. And again, we are not talking about Patel. We are just talking about the concept. The same thing happened in one company where I was one of the money. That was a big chunk of my portfolio, my worth. That was 15 years back or something. The company was doing reasonably well, but not like flying. And the son of MD joined the company, and he really changed the company dramatically. Brought new efficiency, new technology, and expanded in a big way and all. and the company started doing well. The stock price also went up 4-5 times from the bottom. And one day suddenly he died. He met with an accident and he died. And the stock price fell 20-30% just because people also thought that he was the key person behind all this transformation. And after that, the company went up 20 times, 30 times. The stock price went up 20-30 times. So I'm not saying the same thing is going to happen in every company has different dynamics and, different strategy and all. So, but I think all these companies, they are self-sufficient and they manage themselves.
No, got that. So unfortunate sort of news on Patel Engineering, but you're saying that life goes on, and the show goes on in that sense. Now, Vijay, another area, right, where we've seen a lot of action is telecom. And suddenly, from talking about just one player or two players, there is a viable third player. Tariff increases is essentially what has done it now. You have an exposure in the telecom space, not directly there, but you can't talk about specific stocks. At least I can sort of preface my question by naming the stock, Tejas Network, where you hold about 1.9% equity. How have your views evolved there on the telecom space? Because we've seen these tariff increases take place and increasing optimism.
So let me tell you, Tejas Network is also very expensive, although I am the maybe individually largest shareholder into the company, but that does not matter. Valuation-wise, if you go by the March numbers and last numbers and whatever, share is very expensive. But let me tell you, because now the pricing power is coming with all these telecom service providers, like Jio has already increased the rates, and Bharti also has followed the suit. And same is with Vodafone numbers, 15 players has shrunk down to only 3 players, and BSNL is 25% players, so 3.5 or whatever you call it. So, and one thing is for sure, earlier we used to talk about, in India, roti, kapda or makan. So now this is roti, kapda, makan or mobile. As I always say that when my driver keeps 2 mobile, I keep only 1 mobile, but my driver keeps 2 mobile. So how can you go wrong in all these things in this telecom? I think now since they have started increasing the rate, and so I think best time is ahead of them.
So the only issue is that, say companies like Bharti have run up so much. 3 years back, Bharti was sub 500 rupees and now it's close to 1500 rupees. Another 2 sectors where there is a lot of long-term visibility is defense and railways. Order books are swelling. So the earnings growth is going to be strong, likely for the next few years, but the valuations are a big concern. So where do you stand on defense and railways, even for someone who has a long-term time horizon?
So let me tell you about like Bharti, since you took the name of Bharti. So I'm not recommending to buy shares. I'm just saying the future of telecom sector as a whole is bright. And stocks are different, and because stocks sometimes they become overvalued, sometimes they become undervalued. The stocks are different and sector is different. So let me clarify this thing. I'm not talking about Bharti or for that matter any shares. They are expensive. I do agree with you, but they had always been expensive. So that investor, I do not have any position in Bharti, Airtel and any other and all these telecom service provider. Let me clarify. So we're not talking about stocks, just for the sectors. And for the same reason, I think all this defense story is also expensive, railway or defense or whatever you call it. According to me, I do not have any position. So maybe I'm a fence sitter. That is why I feel maybe my opinion is biased because I do not have any position. But I really find them that they are expensive. But story has not ended. Story will continue to grow. The story will continue to be there maybe next 4, 5, 10 years and all. But stock market keep on adjusting. The price keeps on, price keeps on adjusting itself. So this, again, as I said, you have to take your call that if your position is for 5 years, then it is all right. But if your position is for 3 months, 6 months and 1 year, then you should be worried about it.
All right, Mr. Kedia, just wind this down then. Defense as well as railways, well, a lot of people will be looking forward to the budget because they'll be expecting some kind of continuity of policy and also, in terms of spends. You've already told us maybe we could see some tinkering in the long-term capital gains. That could be a possibility. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But what else will you be looking forward to in budget 2024?
I think ultimately, whatever policies has been laid down, been declared by this government, I think that will keep on continuing. Infra will certainly get a big push. Anything which is, economy or GDP enabler, I think that will be, they will push all those reforms and all. And of course, the biggest worry, if you ask me, what is the single most worry, reason to worry about India is that unemployment. So I think government will also take some decisions, to create income, whether it is rural or whatever it is, and to create jobs and all that. That should be the priority of this government. This is what I feel.
Okay, all right, Mr. Kedia, always a pleasure speaking to you. But let's wind this down. As you were speaking about various stocks, we got a lot of inputs, a lot of messages I got, whether you're going to end it with a song. You want to give us a couple of lines, a 15-20-second song before we wind down?
तो सोच कर समझ कर इन्वेस्ट कर, रूमर पे टिप पे ना टाइम वेस्ट कर, नॉलेज और पेशेंस का बिजनेस है ये, अनुभव से सीख और बेस्ट कर.
क्या बात है. I thought you were going to sing it for us, but I think next time you're here in the studio. There's just one last question. When you see your portfolio stocks, and these are stocks in the public domain, especially where you have more than 1%, and you own many of these for a long period of time. Most have done very, very well. If you had, you said that I think you did say that cash is little, you're invested, right? But if you had cash, where will you, are there any sort of, is there value in any of these things without naming companies, any of the sectors, or where there is growth potential also? Because a couple of times you said growth is there, but valuations are rich. But is there any area where both are reasonable?
No, I won't invest anything in this market. If I have fresh money, I would not invest any money in this market. For the simple matter, maybe there is a value in the stocks, but if market falls, that stock will also fall, if entire market falls. So maybe, just to give peace of mind, just to have peace of mind, I will not invest in this market. I will just be a fence-sitter or cheerleader and enjoy what is happening in the market and watch the match.
But at the same time, even though for your own holdings, a couple of times you said that they are expensive, but you're not you're not selling anything, right? Because
no, I'm not selling in a meaningful way because, as I said, that I'm not playing the test match. I'm playing the series. So I in the past also I held so many shares which I continue to hold for 2 or 3. I showed them 2 or 3 bull markets. So I have habit of this. So I'm not worried about that. So I will hold them. As on today, as of now, while I'm talking to you, this is my view. Maybe I will change my view after our interview is over. But as on today, I feel, it's okay. No problem.
No. As Rakeshji used to say, I reserve the right to change my sort of view. Right? That is always there. But since you firmly of the view that generally it's looking very expensive, and it's not a question I would ask you normally, but we're at what, 24,000, almost 24,400, 500 now. Do you think by the end of this year, we'll be here, we'll be lower, we'll be higher? Just any thoughts at all? I'm just only asking you that because you are very firmly of the view that markets are in a bit of a frenzy.
Difficult to say, but I don't expect that it could be higher than where we are today. This is what I feel. Yeah, it shouldn't be higher than where we are today.
Okay, all right. Got that. Vijayji, great to have you with us here. Thank you very much. Enjoy your trip in Ahmedabad, and we'll see you back once you're here in Mumbai. Look forward to our next one with some songs here in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us.
Okay.
So that is Vijay Kedia with his thoughts on the market. We're up 100 points, by the way. 24,430 is where we are trading at. We'll take a break. We are back with some short-term trading ideas with our technical experts. That's coming up next.